The Ram TRX. It's a fantastic truck, one of the best I've ever driven, but it has a problem, a pretty big problem. Luckily, also a fix. Let's talk about it. Before we get into today's video though, guys, I want to mention really quick, the sponsor of today's video is going to be LastFit. And some of the parts that I have on my truck from them include the bed liner and tailgate liner mats. So these things fit really, really awesome, as you can tell. Basically, they are molded to fit the actual truck that you own. So in my case, Ram TRX, you can see here, it is a real nice heavy duty anti-slip mat. Obviously it's not going to let stuff slip around, but it is cut perfectly to go around your wheel wells and look absolutely perfect in the bed of your truck. Now, the same kind of protection is offered right here on the tailgate itself. So anything that's going to be slid into your bed is going to also go right along the anti-slip covering from LastFit right here. And this just attaches with some stock bolt holes. Now, what is really cool about this part is that it actually comes up over the edge a little bit to help protect your plastic stock piece here and give you a little bit extra protection there. So if you have wood sticking out over top of the tailgate, it's going to protect it with this extra thick rubbery anti-slip mat from LastFit. These things are priced really well, but not to even worry about the price today, because I'm giving away 2 sets of these, 2. So regardless of the truck you have, as long as LastFit has the bed liner for your truck, you're going to be able to win one. All you have to do is go to the comment section and comment Driveshaft. As soon as you make that comment, you are automatically entered to win. And there's 2 of these going to be given away. I know they have them for the Raptors, they have them for the Rams, they have them for a couple other trucks. Jump in there, try to get one of these for free, even if you can't get them for free. I have a 10% off discount code I'll leave in the description down below, and I'll also paste a link in there for these things. These are priced really, really handsomely anyway, but comment Driveshaft, get your chance to win one of the LastFit liners for free. All right, guys, so like I said there in the beginning, there is a problem with the Ram TRX. Like I said, this is one of the best, but probably the best truck I've ever driven. Now, with all of that said, there is a problem with the truck. Nothing's perfect in life. If you guys haven't seen my 2-year ownership video, I'll link that right up here somewhere. But ultimately, the truck is really great. I've had basically no problems with it, minus one issue that, to me, is pretty big, and that is
the Driveshaft Clunk.
Now, if you guys don't own a Ram TRX, you probably have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. You're probably like,
Justin, what the heck is a Driveshaft Clunk?
What it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a clunking that is coming from the drive shaft on the Ram TRX. Now, this is a big deal because these aren't exactly cheap trucks. And as you can see behind me, we actually have 2 of them, which is awesome. But these trucks will run you roughly 100 plus brand new and still somewhere around 70 to 80 used. With all of that said, this is not something that you should be having a problem with on such an expensive truck. Unfortunately, we are having this problem, but fortunately, there is a fix and it is also covered under warranty. Now, when it comes to the Driveshaft Clunk and what it really is, it's kind of difficult to explain, and it's not even something I can let you hear because it's not even really something you hear, it's something you feel. So while driving the truck, coming from a dead stop, so if you come up to a stoplight and you're stopped completely and then you start onto the gas again, you will actually feel something that almost feels like it's slipping. Now, not like a transmission slip, more like something in your seat is moving on the rail or something along those lines, which is actually exactly what I thought it was at first. I thought the seat was sliding on the left rail and not on the right rail, because it only happens at acceleration from a dead stop. So the more research I did on this, the more I started to realize that it's actually coming from the drive shaft. Now, what happens is the drive shaft has a slip point that basically allows it to move a little bit in between. And that from factory is greased pretty well, and it allows it to slide naturally without any kind of binding up or any issues like that. As time goes on, mine was roughly 5,000 miles. I started to notice that that smooth transition with this drive shaft was starting to get a little less smooth, and it was starting to basically clunk. And now, again, I know clunk is kind of referring to an audible sound. There's no audible sound here, but you could definitely feel it. It would basically start to slide, and then it would get bound up, and then it would just basically pull real hard, and that is the clunking you're feeling. So ultimately, that's the problem. What is the fix? Let's talk about it. Okay, so the fix I have right here is actually, and I'll put it up on the screen for you as well, is the technical service bulletin from Stellantis themselves. So basically, there has been a couple different revisions to this. I want to say there's been at least 4, maybe 5 different drive shaft fixes that have been replaced and then found to not actually fix it. So what I mean by that is you go to the dealership, they replace it with a different part number drive shaft, and then the clunk comes back in about 3,000 to 5,000 miles. This one, however, I am hearing word on the street that this is the fix. And so far, my truck's been done for roughly 12 to 1,500 miles. So far, mine has been good. I am pretty confident that this fix is the fix because even the dealership was talking about how the other iterations of this particular fix haven't been very good. This is the first one that they've seen that looks pretty stout. So whatever that means, take it with a grain of salt. My experience has been pretty good, and I'm pretty confident that this will probably fix your issue as well. So the technical service bulletin number is 03-004-24. So again, I'm going to put this all up on the screen, but ultimately this is the fix that we're talking about today. And it goes on to say that basically the customers may experience the following: a clunk noise from the drive shaft. See, I told you it was a clunk. And it's actually not a noise, it's a feeling. I have never heard this thing make a noise. It is always just something I feel. But it says a clunk noise from the drive shaft while coming to a stop or when just starting to tip into the throttle at takeoff. And that's pretty accurate. It's rare I feel it at a stop. You really only feel it at a stop if you're in sport mode and the transmission is downshifting pretty hard. At that point, you will feel it. Now, one of the side effects to this, I actually was telling my friend after I got the drive shaft replaced, is I noticed that the transmission felt like it shifted smoother. And that's weird until you think about the fact that every time that thing shifts, it was potentially making that drive shaft clunk. So now the transmission actually feels like it shifts smoother too, which is pretty cool. But anyway, that's the technical service bulletin. That's pretty much it. So there's not a whole lot to talk about here other than the fact that the part number for said fixed drive shaft is 530-111-35AF. So basically, like I said, there's been a bunch of other drive shafts that they've tried to replace and fix this problem with, all to no avail basically. So that part number seems to be the fix. All the information will be on the screen. I will put all of the info in the description down below as well. Ultimately, go to your dealership, give them that TSB, tell them what the problem is, and they should fix it for you. Now, my particular dealership was Laurel Valley Motors. I went in there, I was literally there for maybe 10 minutes. They put the truck up on the rack. They didn't even have to take it for a test drive, which, if you guys are smart, you will not let the dealership take your truck for the test drive because I promise you, they are gonna test out that 702 horsepower. So, my dealership didn't even have to take it for a road test. They put it up on a lift, got underneath there, felt the drive shaft itself. They were able to determine that there was some slop in the drive shaft, and they ordered the new one. In my case, that new one was on nationwide back order, so it took about 3 to 4 weeks for it to come in. Once it finally did, they had the truck in there, in and out in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So odds are good, your experience will be exactly the same. If you have a Ram TRX and you are experiencing the drive shaft clunk, this is the fix. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you liked what you saw here. I know I've gotten a bunch of comments about this on the Ram TRX review video that I did because I mentioned the drive shaft clunk, and a lot of people wanted to know if I had found a fix or if I even tried to get it fixed. And what I was waiting for was this. I was waiting for something that was more solid, something that was more likely to be the permanent fix, because I've heard all of the other ones fail roughly 3,000 to 5,000 miles again. Make sure you get entered for the free last fit bed liners. If you guys have a TRX that didn't come with a bed liner, this is the best thing for you. Even if it does have a bed liner, like mine does, it still is protection for your protection. You can never have too much protection, right? So anyway, comment down below, drive shaft, and make sure you get entered to win. I have 2 of these things to give away. Worst case scenario, use the link down below to buy your own. If you don't win, you can still save some money on one. Smash the thumbs up button, guys, if you liked what you saw. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, stay obsessed.